Well, blessings, everybody, and welcome back to Luke Part 2. This is the first lesson, the second video, and we're looking at Luke chapter 17, verses 11 through 19. If you haven't read it in the last day or two, take a moment. It won't take you long to do it. Take you a couple minutes. Sit down and reread it again. Ask the Lord what He wants to reveal to you. Every time you read a passage, He'll show you more and more. We see that Jesus is still on His way to Jerusalem. We've seen this for several chapters now. Remember, it said that He'd set His face toward Jerusalem. He knew what was going to be happening to Him. He knew He was going to die. He knew He's going to suffer many things. He told the disciples this. He told them He's going to be rejected by the elders, the chief priests, and the scribes. He told them that He would be killed. He told them that He would be raised on the third day. Yet they did not understand it. I dare say we wouldn't have either. Well, Jesus, while He's on His way to Jerusalem, passes through Samaria and Galilee. He doesn't take the traditional route that a pious Jew would take, particularly a Pharisee or something. They would not even walk upon the ground that the Samaritans were upon. And you did some more study this week in 1 Kings 17 about where Samaria came from and all that type of thing. Basically, it was a perverted form of Judaism that was syncretized with pagan religion. When the northern kingdom broke off from the southern kingdom, the kingdom was divided. Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, Jeroboam the first, created his own form of Judaism. That's the only way to describe it. And they operated within that for quite a period of time. Then the Assyrians conquered the northern kingdom, left behind the poor Jews. So the poor Jews put together their perverted form of Judaism with the various pagan forms of religions that came in with the people that the Assyrians had brought in. And so by the time you get the time of Jesus, those in Samaria were looked upon as being literally half-breeds in a lot of ways. So Jesus is passing through. He comes to the village, and there's 10 men there of leprosy. And they had leprosy. They cried out unto Jesus. Did you notice what they cried for? They cried for mercy. For mercy. And so He granted mercy to them, and He was going to heal them. He told them to do this: go show yourself to the priest. Now, why would they do that? Well, when you study the Levitical law, the Mosaic law, you see that there was all sorts of things they were to do to prove that they were healed. And leprosy is more than what we refer to now as, I think it's Hansen's disease. I never can remember if it's Hansen or Addison's. I think it's Hansen's disease. That's what we normally think of as leprosy. But really, it's any type of skin thing that would pop up. Most of us have had some form of what would refer to as leprosy, whether it's a boil or an infection or something like that. So they had certain things they were supposed to do. They would go to the priest, not necessarily to receive healing, but to show that they were healed. Then the priest would declare them to be clean. What's interesting is these men went, and while they were on their way, not when they got to the priest were they healed, while they were on their way, they were healed. Well, one of them turns around and goes back to Jesus. Jesus had healed them, but He wanted it confirmed with the priest literally while they were on their way. Now, why did Jesus want this? Well, it's showing that He adhered to the law, that He honored the law, He came to fulfill the law. So this one returned. He glorified God. He glorified God. He praised Him. I mean, he was just having a fit in the spirit, shall we say, okay? And Jesus says, where are the other 9 that were healed? So we know the other 9 were healed. What I find really interesting here is that this one was a Samaritan. And the question comes to my mind, why did Jesus tell a Samaritan to go to the Jewish priest to show Himself? He was a foreigner. I think the picture for us is that Jesus heals, yes, those of the nation of Israel, but He heals the sinner and He heals the Samaritan also. Keep pressing on. I'll see you again next time.